Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for coming punctually. In order to start the seminar, invoking the blessings of Sri Narottam Das Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, and the Panchatattva, we will sing this song of Narottam Das Thakur is written in one of his two books, Prarthana, which we will be discussing during these 3 days. And this song is sung every morning in Sridham Mayapur. And since we are in New Chaitanya Chandrodaya Mandir, so it's very appropriate for the place as well. The meaning of the song, those of you who are somewhat familiar with the words may be able to see very clearly, but I'll just summarize very quickly. Basically, in this song, we are begging for the compassion, the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda, Sri Advaita, the Goswamis, and other Vaishnavacharyas. In the first line, we pray to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord Chaitanya, please be compassionate upon me, have mercy on me. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Daya Koro More. In this world of samsara, Jagat Samsara, this universe of samsara, where we will find a personality more merciful than you are. There is no one more merciful than you. In the second stanza, Patita Pavana Etu Tava Avatar, Moshama Patita Prabhu Napaivear. You are known as Patita Pavana, the savior of the fallen, and you will not find anyone who is more fallen than I am. Therefore, as Srila Prabhupada will put it, my claim is first. In the third line, Haha Prabhu Nityananda, Premananda Shuki, my Haha, it's like exclaiming or calling out. Haha Prabhu Nityananda, my dear Lord Nityananda, you are always very happy due to the Premananda or the bliss of pure love of Godhead. Please be merciful on me, who am very dukkhi. I am very sad. Kripa Balokana Koro, Amiboro dukkhi. And then in the next line, my dear Advaita Gosai, you are the husband of Sita Devi, Sita Thakurani. Please be merciful upon me, Doya Koro. It is by your mercy that Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda came. Tava Kripa Balepai, Chaitanya Nitai. And then in the next line, Narottam Das Thakur is calling out to the Goswamis, associates of Lord Chaitanya, O Svarup Damodar, Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Bhatta Yuga, the two Bhattas, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Jiva, and Prabhu Lokanath, his master, Lokanath Goswami, who was his guru. Actually, Narottam Das Thakur was the only disciple of Lokanath Goswami, one of the first Goswamis sent by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Vrindavan. Before the well-known 6 Goswamis went to Vrindavan, Lokanath Goswami and Bhugarva Goswami went first to open the field, even if they were not credited as much as the other Goswamis, but they were the senior-most teachers in Vrindavan. And in the last line, Doya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Shri Nivas Ramachandra Sangamage Narottamadas. Then he prays for the mercy of Shri Nivas Acharya, who was the Acharya in the period post-Chaitanya. He was known as an Acharya, and Narottam Das Thakur regarded to him as a leader in the community of Vaishnavas. And he also prays for the mercy of Ramachandra Kaviraj, who was a very, very dear Vaishnava friend. And he, in different songs, he mentions Ramachandra Kaviraj, always praying for his Sangha, his association. So we will sing the song, and then we will start with the seminar. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koro More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koro More Toma vina que doyalu Jagat samsare Toma vina que doyalu Jagat samsare Patita pavana hetu Tavaya avatara Patita pavana hetu Tavaya avatara Mochama patita prabhu Napaive hara Mochama patita prabhu Napaive hara Kaka Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kaka Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripava আমি বড় দুঃখী। কৃপা ভালো কান্না কর, আমি বড় দুঃখী। দয়া করো সীতাপতি, Advaita Gochai. Doya Koro Sitapati, Advaita Gochai. Tava kripa bhale paaye Chaitanya Nitai. Tava kripa bhale paaye Chaitanya Nitai. Kakasvaru Sanatana Drupada Gunata. Kakasvaru Sanatana Drupada Gunata. Bhata Yoga Shri Devakha Prabhu Lokanatha. Bhata Yoga Shri Devakha Prabhu Lokanatha. Doya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa. Doya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa. Ramachandra Sangamage Narottama Dasa. Indra Sangamage Narottama Dasa Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva. Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Narottam Das Thakur ki jai, Shri Panchatattva Bhagavan ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nittai Gaur Premanande. Mukam karoti vachalam, Pangum langayate girim, Yat kripatamaham vande, Shri Gurum Dinataranam, Paramananda Madhavam, Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Hare Krishna, thank you very much for coming. When Parameshwari Mataji and Shri Prada Mataji invited me to the Sangam, they told me about the topic of the Sangam, the theme. Last year was Sharanagati. This year is Vandanam. So it came just appropriate for a book that I published recently. It's this book on Narottam Das Thakur entitled Narottam Shiksha, Bathing in the Pristine Waters of Srila Narottam Das Thakur's Teachings. The book focuses primarily on the teachings, perhaps the practical theology found in Narottam Das Thakur's songs, more than in the poetry or the song itself, although it analyzes some or explores some of the poetical embellishments Narottam Das Thakur presents in his books. The question will be, okay, why this book came about? What brought you to explore the songs of Narottam Das Thakur? It was a quote I read in one of the introductions to one of the books by Srila Narottam Das Thakur, specifically, I think it was Prema Bhakti Chandrika. In the introduction, the editor was quoting this. I don't have the exact reference, but the personality he's quoting is Srila Gaura Kishora Das Babaji Maharaj. And Babaji Maharaj said this when somebody asked him, what will take you to achieve pure love of Godhead? And Babaji Maharaj replied that actually it is very, very cheap. It will cost you only 5 annas. And the anna, I forgot now the exact amount, but it's so insignificant that it doesn't exist anymore. It was one division of the rupee, the Indian rupee. Of course, this was 1 century ago, but still, it's very little money. And Babaji Maharaj said, you take that amount of money, you go to the marketplace, and you buy the 2 books written by Narottam Das Thakur, Prema Bhakti Chandrika, and Prarthana. And you read them every day. In this way, you will attain pure love of Godhead. So it's such a simple formula. I'm a simple fellow, so when I hear that, I said, wow, this is really, really good. And it inspired me to explore the contents of the songs of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. I must say also that I feel attracted to Narottam Das Thakur since the very beginning while reading his songs. So this was kind of like a confirmation that I should explore for my own purification, explore his teachings in his books. And then I thought, why not share it with others? And as part of my personal mission statement is to write something about Krishna, which Srila Prabhupada said in general to the devotees, whatever realizations you have, you write something. There is a quote in the beginning of the book, I put it like as an element that is there, is what Srila Prabhupada said. Prabhupada was encouraging his disciples to write articles for the Back to Godhead. This is half Anna, okay. Okay, here we have it. Historical. Thank you. Half Anna. Half. 16 Anna, 1 rupee, okay. Okay. So now we have a more accurate idea. So Prabhupada, in regard to the disciples writing for Back to Godhead magazine, wrote, Realization means you should write, every one of you. What is your realization? What for this back to Godhead is? You write your realization, what you have realized about Krishna. That is required. It is not passive. Always you should be active. Whenever you find time, you write. Never mind 2 lines, 4 lines, but you write your realization. Shravanam Kirtanam, writing or offering prayers, glories. That's also a very good way of writing. Of praying by writing. I have not started that practice, but I'm thinking, while coming here, reflecting a little bit on the theme of the Sangam, Vandanam, I was thinking that maybe I should write prayers, because I'm writing more theology or realizations, whatever realizations Krishna gives me and whatever I read in Srila Prabhupada's books, and how I understand it, to share it with others and for my own benefit. But I was thinking that maybe for praying it's a very good way of communicating with Krishna. One devotee was telling me how he was writing every day a letter to Krishna, to Srila Prabhupada, and to his spiritual master who had left his body. So it was a way of him to keep connected to the Lord and to his gurus. This is one of the functions of the Vaishnava. You are hearing, but you have to write also. This is a lecture given by Srila Prabhupada, 14th August 1972 in Los Angeles. You may consider that. You may keep a diary. Some of you may be doing it already. Keep a diary, write, or write articles, whatever realizations, first for our own purification, then to share with others. And also Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur instructed his disciples to read on a daily basis Narottam Das Thakur's writings, and specifically he mentioned Prema Bhakti Chandrika. We are singing the first song, the song we sing for the pleasure and for the glorification of Srila Prabhupada every morning, is the beginning of Prema Bhakti Chandrika. So it starts with Shri Guru Mahima, glorification of the spiritual master. And also Srila Prabhupada, in his books, refer many times to Narottam Das Thakur. This is just a sample of one quote. There are many. In Vrindavan, Prabhupada stated, Narottam Das' song, although it is written in Bengali, it is considered as Shruti, Vedic. Srinivasacharya has eulogized Narottam Das Thakur that your songs are Vedic evidences. And we find, for example, in different purports, Prabhupada wrote about that. This is another one. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when the ladies of Hastinapur go to the top of the palaces to say goodbye to Krishna, who is leaving their city, and they start to talk to glorify Krishna. And the verse of the Bhagavatam says that what they were talking was more attractive than the Vedic hymns. You have the verse. Anyone likes to read it aloud? You like to read it aloud?
The first part?
Yeah, the first part and then the purport, the part of the purport.
Absorbed in the thought of the transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is glorified in select poetry, the ladies on the roofs of all the houses of Hastinapura began to talk of him. This talk was more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas. Srimad Bhagavatam 1:10-20.
And this is part of the purport to this verse.
Anything sung in the praise of the Lord is Shruti mantra. There are songs of Thakur Narottam Das, one of the acharyas in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, composed in simple Bengali language. But Thakur Vishwanath Chakravarti, another very learned acharya of the same Sampradaya, has approved the songs when Thakur Narottam Das to be as good as Vedic mantras. And this is so because of the subject matter. The language is immaterial, but the subject matter is important. The ladies who were all absorbed in the thought and actions of the Lord developed the consciousness of Vedic wisdom by the grace of the Lord. And therefore, although such ladies might not have been very learned scholars in Sanskrit or otherwise, still whatever they spoke was more attractive than the Vedic hymns.
So you may remember from the Srimad Bhagavatam, one very famous verse, many times we recite, is an Ashta Prajeshu Abhadreshu verse, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttama Shloka, Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. And the verse mentions two types of Bhagavatas, the book Bhagavata and the person Bhagavata. And we should serve the person Bhagavata in order to access the book Bhagavata. So it goes in both directions, but it is actually the person Bhagavata, the person who is living what the book Bhagavata teaches, is the person who can give us the message of the Bhagavad. And you may remember also that the Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of the desire tree of the Vedas. Nigama kalpataror litam palam, shuka mukha tamrita drava samyutam, pivata bhagavatam rasamalayam, muhuraho rasika bhuvibabukka. So, all the teachings of the Vedas are found in the Bhagavatam. And all the message of the Bhagavatam is found in the teachings of this devotee Bhagavata, Srila Narottam Das Thakur. So basically we have everything. Perhaps that's why these great acharyas, Srila Gaur Kishora Das Babaji Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, and also Srila Prabhupada, emphasize the reading and the singing of the songs and the teachings of these great acharyas. Srila Narottam Das Thakur, also closest to us, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So basically, nowadays, in the age of Kali, we want everything condensed, right? We want everything in sutras and condensed. Of course, that's not to say that we shouldn't study in depth Srimad Bhagavatam, but we have like this. Recently, I was ill a couple of months ago, and then one devotee expert in medicine told me you should take, I don't know how you call it in English, the bees produce this royal, like the honey? Jelly. Royal jelly. And she prescribed, she's expert in medicine, prescribed, take royal jelly, will do good for your health. So the teachings of Narottam Das Thakur, we can say, are the royal jelly found in Srimad Bhagavatam. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada says, these are Vedic evidences. It is very, very clear. All the acharyas have said that. Srila Narottam Das Thakur is reputed as a prolific writer. I read that in some, I was doing some research, and this is what it was said. But so far that we know, we have only 2 books, and they are actually quite short. We have Prema Bhakti Chandrika, and this is how it is composed. There are 9 songs with 120 stanzas, and these are the themes we find in in the book, like the themes of the songs. Praise of the Guru and the Vaishnavas, undivided devotional service, self-surrender, fixed devotional service to Sri Sri Radha Krishna, to the divine couple, a glimpse into the path of Ragamarga, loving attachment, and there he also explains the process of Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous, the practice of a spontaneous devotional service, and then some topics to help the devotees in their meditation to achieve prema, pure love of Godhead. The characteristics of the unalloyed devotee, again fixed devotional service to come to final instructions. So it's a treatise of practical theology, very profound, in terms, especially in terms of personal application. Personal application, and then of course if somebody applies it personally, will be able to also share it with other persons. But it is especially for personal practice, which goes very much into the mood of the vandanam, or the prayerful attitude we were discussing this morning during Srimad Bhagavatam class. And then the other book, Prarthana actually means prayer. It's an anthology of 57 songs with different themes, but some devotee theologians, they have considered these three divisions that we find also in Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, by Srila Rupa Goswami. So these considerations are there. They can be classified as Samprarthanatmika, prayers with total surrender to the Lord, Danyavodika, which is acknowledging one's insignificance and worthlessness or shortcomings, and Lala Samayi, which is a hankering, a spiritual hankering, spiritual desire to achieve a state of divine perfection. And based on these two books, what we did, we took some of these, the main teachings that were relevant to us. I mean, everything was relevant, but just it's another way of putting it to digest whatever we got from these books, to reflect on it more on a personal level, and also to share with the community of devotees. These topics are especially relevant to practicing devotees. People who are not practicing bhakti yoga, for them may be too far, although could be that a person may feel stimulated to explore it by hearing about this. Like, for example, the first topic, service to the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas. Recently we were invited to a yoga center in Barcelona. Right now, some of you have mentioned in different lectures, Her Grace Narayani Mataji made a reference during her presentation just 1 hour ago about the chanting of Hare Krishna, how people are chanting more, and also Murli Gopal Prabhu was Yogindra Prabhu in the class he gave a couple of days ago, referred to the yoga preaching, and how some of the brahmacharis went to northern Sweden or something, and West Sweden, to the west, like Prabhupada went to the west, to preach to the yogis, to the people in the yoga schools, or to do kirtan, because the people in the yoga schools are more and more inclined to kirtans. And there is one one of such persons in Barcelona. He uses the name Jayadev. And he sings kirtan, and they like to sing, especially the Mahamantra Hare Krishna. It's the kirtan they like to do the most. And this person invited us for a gathering. About 80 or 100 people were there. And the gathering was about Guru. So they wanted us to present our Gaudiya Vaishnava perspective, Bhakti Yoga perspective on the spiritual master. And he told us, I think too many people here are very new agey with the idea of what Guru is. So we like to hear from you because you have a more grounded understanding and practice of the relationship with the spiritual master. So in that sense, it can be relevant also to people, other yoga practitioners, or people from other traditions. But generally, this is more for devotees. So there is some repetition there from what the themes we find in the songs, but then there are some subtopics identified here. For example, selecting one's association. That's very important for us. How we select our company. Depending who we associate with, we attain some results or others. Our desires flourish in one direction or in the other, depending with whom we associate with. So that's super important. About going on pilgrimage also, Narottam Das Thakur speaks about that. We will look at that later on. Now I'm just enumerating the topics we intend to explore in this seminar. Some of them, maybe not all of them, because we have 3 sessions and the topics are very, very deep. The process of surrender, we had last year the Sangam on Sharanagati, so that's very important. And then again, humility and serving without duplicity. Serving without duplicity, that's also a very important element that we need to consider. These are part of the teachings of Narottam Das Thakur. And then we find this about the path of loving attachment and Raganuga sadhana, a topic that sometimes has been taboo sometimes for devotees in our movement, or sometimes has been taken too far and out of place, and it has created even some schisms in our movement. So it's not a small topic. It's something that we need to explore in the light of Srila Prabhupada's and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's teachings, who are our closest acharyas and who actually directly save us from this, from the material entanglement. So Narottam Das Thakur sings about these topics, sometimes in a very free way, very open way, like the song, some of you may sing it, a familiar, beautiful song, Radha Krishna Paranamora Yugala Kishore. Like there are some songs like that in which Narottam Das Thakur is expressing his joy and very openly his desire to serve the divine couple. And this is part of the practice of devotional service. We shouldn't just put it under the carpet and we don't touch there. This is part of our tradition given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and by Srila Prabhupada. Even if one very important point in the book, if we have time we will touch a little bit on this topic, is how Srila Prabhupada cautions us in dealing with these topics. We should be cautious. We shouldn't just try to enter into those topics artificially or to use it just for show, like Prabhupada will say, show bottle, like to show. I'm very advanced and I'm talking about rasa, I am very advanced. This is not the proper attitude. This is actually very detrimental if we approach these topics with this idea. But to approach them in a very respectful manner, following the acharyas with due caution, and cultivating internally the desire for an intimate service to the Lord and His eternal associates, that's actually very, not just very healthy, but it's actually desirable, very much desirable. It's in Srila Prabhupada's books, in Nectar of Instruction, in Nectar of Devotion, in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Bhagavatam, again and again we find it throughout his books. But in a careful way, it should be done cautiously. And then a very important theme also is the intercession of the devotees. A high percentage of Narottam Das Thakur's songs are prayers to the devotees, to his spiritual master, to the Goswamis, to the devotees in general, to the gopis, to Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Sri Advaita. He's praying again and again and again. So this is a very prominent element in his songs, which indicates what are his teachings. He's teaching, he's modeling what we should do, what we may not do enough. And he's modeling it in his songs. And we can follow in his footsteps just by singing his songs, by trying to entering into the mood of his writing, his singing, his praying. And then again invoking the compassion of their lordships as devotees. And also a process also referred to by Srila Prabhupada, following the footsteps of the devotees of Vrindavana, especially the gopis of Vrindavana. Aratyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas Taddama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajabadu Pargena Yakalpita. The best way of worshipping Krishna in Vrindavana is by following in the footsteps of the gopis of the Vraja gopis. By following them, it is possible that we worship Krishna in the best possible way. So, Narottam Das Thakur is teaching us by example how to do that. And it can be done by very humble prayer, like for example in the song Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. He is following his Ragatmika Bhakta, or his devotee, advanced devotee, eternal associate of the Lord Sri Rupa Goswami in his eternal form, serving Radha and Krishna. And he is doing that by following, in a very humble mood, approaching him in separation. So we can do the same also with our acharyas, and by just singing the songs in our own little way. We don't have to artificially try to be what we are not, but in our own little way, we can also cultivate those prayerful and devotional feelings. It is not taboo. It's in Srila Prabhupada's books again and again, so it must not be taboo. We studied in Bhakti Shastri, and so if we studied in Bhakti Shastri, must not be taboo, must be available. Any comments or questions on the general? Because now we intend to enter into as many topics as we can throughout these 3 days, whatever is left from today, and tomorrow and day after.
What is this
intercession means, maybe it's a Christian word, but it's used in Christian circles, but in devotional, basically it means that somebody is praying for us. Somebody is asking on our behalf. And that's much more powerful than if we pray ourselves. That's explained by Srila Jiva Goswami in his Bhakti Sandarbha, in the commentaries to the Srimad Bhagavatam he wrote. How the prayer of the spiritual master, Krishna will take more seriously the prayer of a Vaishnava than if we pray directly to Krishna. If I go to the Lord and ask directly, please have mercy on me, He is merciful, He will take it into account. But if a devotee goes on my behalf and asks the Lord, please be merciful unto him, that will multiply many times. And therefore to ask other devotees to pray for us is actually a very healthy request. Because if they pray for us, Krishna will hear it much better. So that's intercession. It's asking on behalf of someone.
So it means two kinds of prayer. Intercession is one of the books. That means if I pray for my friend, and the others prays to the Vaishnavas, that we pray to Srila Prabhupada for something.
Yes, I mean, the teaching I got here from Narottam Das Thakur's songs is that he is praying to the devotees, to the Vaishnavas, to pray for him or to give blessings to him by their good wishes and blessings. We find this also in Nectar of Devotion, when Srila Prabhupada says that good wishes by a Vaishnava may wish well to somebody, and can be by looking at the person, can be, there are like three types, maybe someone can help me with that. By looking, by, remember? Wishing well, by words, I think, by looking, by words, and by thoughts, is that? Prasad, by giving prasad. Yes, thank you. So that's in one chapter in Nectar of Devotion. And the example is given that Srila Narada Muni desired that the child in the womb, Prahlad Maharaj, who was in the womb of his mother, and because of the good wishes of Narada Muni, the child in the womb became such an advanced devotee, a Mahabhagavat, very big devotee, just by the good wishes of Narada Muni. So in this way, it's Narottam Das Thakur is asking the Vaishnavas to pray for him or to be compassionate upon him. And of course, this could be in different ways, how they will be compassionate by accepting his service, by giving him their Mahaprasad, could be the different ways how they will do it, but he's asking them. Any other points on the general contents of the themes or sub-themes found? Here there is one question, yes? Prabhu. Maybe good to be specific if you want that they pray for like Srimati Kunti Devi was specifying this morning in the verse, for attraction, for Ananya Vishaya, that she is free from not undiverted attraction for the Lord, like the Ganges flows towards the sea. So if we want something specific, we should be concrete and ask the devotees. Like when that person in India came to Srila Prabhupada on the train, And then these people got into Srila Prabhupada's room in the train, avoiding the secretaries, and they were very happy that they came in and they were sitting with Srila Prabhupada. And then they asked Srila Prabhupada for Ashirvav, a blessing. This is very traditional in India. And generally, most of the people, when they are asking for a blessing, they don't specify, they are very general, and they may just want good health, or it's just a formality, they want good luck, whatever that means, they want good luck. And by having by meeting the saintly person, if the saintly person blesses them, they will have good luck. And many of them are thinking karma kanda terms, that actually they will get money, or the things at first in the family will go well, etc. So Srila Prabhupada told them, what blessing do you want from me? Srila Prabhupada put them on the spot. And they didn't expect that question, because usually the people in India, the religious people in India, they don't ask that question. They just put their hand like that and they shake their head like this, and they are pleased and they are giving blessings, whatever that means. And then the man didn't know what to say, and he mentioned something which was a bit superficial, and some disciples of Prabhupada who were there, they somehow laughed. They were very young, a bit, perhaps even not so mature. So they laughed at a little bit at the situation. And then he asked something about his knee. He had a problem in his knee, some physical health problem. And then Srila Prabhupada, pointing out to his disciples who were shaved up in brahmachari clothes, maybe some sannyas clothes was there as well, said, "This is my blessing." And they were a bit scared because they didn't want to renounce the world. But basically, Srila Prabhupada put them on the spot, perhaps, also to teach a lesson. In this case, was the hard way. Sometimes Prabhupada will be very soft like a rose. Sometimes he will be strong like a thunderbolt. So to teach these people and to teach his disciple that a pure devotee should not be approached with mundane, superficial issues, but they should be approached for something which goes according to their state of consciousness, which is requesting undivided devotional service to the Lord. So we should be specific when we ask for a blessing. If we ask a devotee, please ask for me for. Of course, the devotee, normally the devotee will ask for our spiritual welfare, especially, more than our material welfare. Because a wise person knows that materially everything is bound to end. Things will not continue in this world. Our health will deteriorate if we get old, if we don't die earlier. So that's bound to happen. It's part of the law of nature. I don't know if I answered the question.
But I have a slightly more specific question. So recently there was an incident where a devotee sister was undergoing a medical operation, and then she requested the devotee community to pray for her. Of course, but is that what also you would do, or?
Yeah, yes, we can do. I mean, we can do like Srila Prabhupada taught how to do that. In at least that I remember, I read in Prabhupada Lilamrita, Srila Prabhupada's biography. I mean, official biography printed by the BBT. There are many biographies or many witnesses, the Prabhupada disciples, who have written their diaries, or like Harishari Prabhu's diary and others. So we can read from all of them. But in the official biography, I remember at least having read in 2 occasions in which Srila Prabhupada asked his disciples to pray for him in 1967 and later on 70, quite later. And maybe probably there are more. But in one occasion, the first one, Srila Prabhupada was asking devotees to pray that my spiritual master didn't finish his mission. And in one of the occasions, Srila Prabhupada said, in the prayer you should say to Krishna, if you so desire, cure Srila Prabhupada. So we pray for the physical health of someone, we can pray in this way. My dear Lord, if you so desire, cure this devotee so that he can continue. We can have more of his or her association. Please cure this devotee so that we have his Sangha. Like this, so that he can continue serving the mission, if that's your plan. So that's a good way of offering our prayer. Because we want to have the association of as many devotees as possible. So if devotees stay longer with us, that's very good. If they stay healthy. Normally when I wish somebody long life, I say long, healthy life. Because long life, if it is not healthy, can be a hell. So I don't like to say just long life, long, healthy life. Okay? Any other comments or questions?
If we know a person does not want to become devotee, let's say, and we pray for that person, something that the person does not want, can we pray for something what another person doesn't want?
Yes, we can pray. I mean, many of us didn't want, and devotees prayed for us. Srila Prabhupada came to the West, and some of us changed our mind. I remember when we were doing book distribution in our first years of joining ISKCON, we were taught by our Sankirtan leaders that our desire, I'm sure here Sweden was boiling like with books, and I mean the BBT is still here producing books in so many languages, but from here was like the capital for the North European zone for pushing book distribution. And I'm sure many of you, those of you who were doing book distribution in those years, may have heard the same argument, that the desire of the devotee should be stronger than the desire of the non-devotee of enjoying the material world. So if the devotee has a stronger desire to rescue that soul and prays for that person, Krishna is within the heart, and this can, of course, will not force the person, but this can have an effect, and ultimately the person will have to accept. But the influence, we're all social people, and we can be influenced by others. We are all the time influenced. So by Sangha, we can influence others. And one way of Sangha is praying for them, because the Lord is in the heart.
I think my mother, she prayed very strongly because I didn't want to become devotee. And then it happened. And I see maybe I'm not so strong in my prayer that my children don't become devotees.
So you should follow in the footsteps of your mother then. If pray like her. Family tradition.
Thank you so much. My question is related to the things you mentioned that one should follow the step of the gopis. But what about the other rasas? Must, or what about the other rasas? Because of the relationship of the friendship and the Udava, that is so intense love for Krishna. What should we follow the Udava or Sakas?
Yes, of course. I mean, even in Narottam Thakur's song, there is one place in describing, in Prema Bhakti Chandrika, in describing Ekanta Bhakti, he gives the example of Hanuman. He doesn't say, oh, Hanuman is not Madhurya Ras, I don't touch there. No. He says we all should follow Hanuman. He's so fixed. Even though he is in a more Madhurya mood, but he's emphasizing someone in Dasya Ras. So it's not, there is no problem. Every devotee can follow their natural attraction. It's not that because we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we are forced to worship Krishna in a way we don't want to worship. I remember one devotee from the Ukraine in Radhadesh told me she would like to be a stone in the spiritual world, in Goloka Vrindavan. I thought it was a profound realization, because normally we want to be like, we have to be someone, right? That's projecting our conditioning into the transcendental realm. So we want to be a gopi, okay, maybe a cocker boy, but no less than that, because then you go to Vaikuntha and you are... but actually that devotee was saying whatever she was feeling attracted to, and I didn't dig too much. It was just a very short exchange. But the way how she was saying it, I thought it was very sincere and coming from the heart and very humble. And it taught me a lesson by saying that. I want to be a stone in Goloka Vrindavan. Devotees will step on me, and we find prayers like that by associates of the Lord in the Srimad Bhagavatam and in other Vaishnava Shastras, like Uddhava and Lord Brahma praying to become a grass or dust in Vrindavan. Okay, so let's look a little bit. Serving the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas. There are many songs, as I mentioned in the beginning. The first song in Prema Bhakti Chandrika is Shri Guru Mahima, glorification of the Guru, and we sing it every day. Shri Guru Charana Padma. Every day we sing to glorify Srila Prabhupada. And this is another verse from Prema Bhakti Chandrika in the first chapter. Anyone likes to read, just to give a little flavor, because there is so much. The whole book is full of substance, of thick, like jelly, royal jelly from the Bhagavatam. Anyone likes to read?
One should decorate the body with the dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas, because by this one can achieve transcendental realizations by constantly associating with the devotees. One's cultivation of devotional service is purified, and one can conquer blessings.
For me, association of devotees is like, I'm a person, I was born near Barcelona, in Spain, near the beach. From the house of my parents, you could see the beach. But I never learned how to swim. So sometimes happens, like Srila Prabhupada gives the example that a person who, confectionery, the cake maker, doesn't like the cakes. These things happen. Or in Spain we have a saying that in the house of the blacksmith, you have a spoon, a wooden spoon, right? So I had the sea nearby, and people from Sweden go there to swim, and they said, you are crazy. Like we had recently the Bhakti Surf, one program organized for the ISKCON youth by one devotee, very creative, mixing the devotees funded by the European community, and some of the youth from different European countries came. Anyone here who came? Some of your children may have come. So they came to learn surfing, and then in the afternoon we were giving a seminar on devotional service and the chanting of the holy name. So it was a good combination. But anyway, going back to the point I wanted to make, is that I could see the sea, but I never learned how to swim. I will go and take bath because my parents didn't swim, so I didn't swim either. We just took bath like the ducks, like they do in India. In India, some people do that. They don't swim, they just do go like this. And maybe you put some water on the head, or put the head and go out. So for me, the association of devotees is like being carried by the waves. I don't need to do anything. I don't know how to swim. The waves take you, but these are waves. You cannot die in this ocean of devotional service. In the ordinary ocean, you may die if you don't know how to swim and you go very deep. But in the ocean of devotional service, if you don't know how to swim, the wave of the ocean carry you, like the people who are doing surfing, right? So this is Bhakti surfing. The waves carry you, and this is the waves of the association of devotees. You don't have to do anything. The waves carry you in one direction or the other. That's my experience, and I trust that many of you have similar experience. Just by being with the devotees, we get so much. We don't have to do a separate endeavor. Do you? Well, of course, we have to take also what the devotees give us, but just by being with the devotees, we're getting so much mercy, so much divine experience. So in that sense, this will be like by constantly associating with the devotees, one's cultivation of devotional service is purified and one can conquer nations. This happens in practice. Who has to a certain extent, to whatever level, some level of experience of this. Is it like that? Yeah, we feel purified, and we gradually conquer ignorance. And then these verses are connected to undivided and selfless devotional service, and this is connected to the topic of also Ananya Bhakti, worshipping Krishna without division and without worshipping demigods. And anyone likes to read aloud these verses?
The topmost process of devotional service is to worship the Lord with body and mind, giving up desires for fruitive activities and mental speculation. One should serve Lord Krishna in the association of devotees without worshipping any demigods. I will serve Govinda with all my senses, and I will not worship the demigods or goddesses. This is the highest principle of devotional service. All the other processes are simply born of pride, and I feel great pain in my heart by seeing them. So we find the teachings. It is in Bhagavad Gita we just heard from Narayani Mataji. In chapter 7, chapter 9, this is mentioned, worship only Krishna, don't worship demigods. Only people who don't understand properly worship other deities. But Bhagavan is only one. He may manifest in different incarnations, but he is one. And the demigods are his servants. So, okay, for us it may be obvious because we heard it in the practice of devotional service, but even sometimes some devotees may start diverting, start for some reason worship this demigod or that demigod. And Narottam Das Thakur is very clear. Do not divert your attention from service to Sri Sri Radha Krishna. Don't let yourself be misled by other ideas.
It's very clearly in Bhagavad Gita, it's clearly in Srimad Bhagavatam, and powerful Vaishnavacharyas such as Narottam Das Thakur are very clearly confirming it. Any comments or questions on this? On this or the spiritual master, whatever of the two?
I'm wondering, in the spiritual world, I think it's in the Bhagavatamrita mentioned that there are demigods also there. Is it so that devotees in the spiritual world, what connection they have relationship with demigods? And Srimati Radharani, she worships sun god.
Okay, you mean in the spiritual world, there are different roles, but what's harmonious is everyone is serving Krishna. So like we find that verse in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that says that in the spiritual world, both devas and asuras worship the Lord. It's an amazing statement how there can be asuras in the spiritual world, but everybody is playing is serving God. So whoever reaches the spiritual world, may that person be deva or asura, will become a pure devotee. Of course, you become a pure devotee and then enter the spiritual world. But there is no limitation, no difference. It doesn't matter what happens. Of course, I mean, the question you asked about the leelas of the Lord, where Srimati Radharani worships demigods. I'm not sure how much that's Bhauma Lila or also happens in Goloka. I'm not sure. We have read from Srila Jiva Goswami that certain Leelas, like for example, the demons, the killing of demons, happen only in Bhauma Vrindavan. So I'm not sure to what extent. But in any case, based on that verse of the Bhagavatam I referred to, in the spiritual world, both divine people and people who may not be considered divine, they become divine. That's the spiritual world. There is harmony. There is no place for envy, as Srila Prabhupada will put it. Is that okay? Is that? Gaur Hari Prabhu.
You may not find this point so relevant, but it might still have some relevance. Maybe you can give some suggestions how it is also relevant to us about worshiping, not worshiping demigods. This was this is a strong point in Christianity. Worship of the gold calf was forbidden for the Jews.
Yes, this will be more for people coming from the Vedic tradition who worship demigods. There is a tradition of worshipping demigods as parts of the Mahapurusha, but later on have been diverted, especially by the followers of Shankaracharya, who emphasize Panchopasana, mentioning 5 types of what Prabhupada calls functional deities, which are representation of the impersonal Brahman. So this has created quite confusion in India. And what Srila Prabhupada will call in some of his letters and lectures, hodgepodge. This hodgepodge is coming from this idea of everything mixed, everything is the same. But not everything is the same. There is unity and diversity at the same time. This is a statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattva yakjanamattvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. Tattva is non-dual, but tattva not only includes, but Bhagavan is the origin of everyone and everything. So Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, and his eternal abode is non-dual, but yet full of variety. So hodgepodge is when the philosophy has been said that it is the same, one attains the same destination by worshipping one deity or the other. That's not what Bhagavad Gita says. Yanti deva vrata devan, pitrin yanti pitri vrataha, putani yanti bhuteja, yanti matjajino piman. Those who worship demigods, devatas, they go to the devatas. And those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts go to the ghost. And Krishna says, those who worship me, Bhagavan, the Supreme, they come to me. So this will be relevant for people from the Vedic tradition or from traditions that may worship demigods. People who may study even Egypt or Greece, like the ancient Greece, Egypt, or even if it's not so relevant nowadays. But some people sometimes, I remember having met some people who were worshipping Ra, the sun god in Egyptian tradition. So like that, the people who worship in these ways, this may be relevant. Not for the three religions of the book, like Christendom and Islam and Judaism. Any other comments or questions on any of the two topics we covered? Okay, otherwise we have like 8 minutes to finish. And I'm going to ask you a little exercise in pairs. Please pair up. Maybe try it if you are alone. And share in pairs what part of today's presentation